What's going on, everyone? It's Waiver Wire Queen, and we got Quentin in the building.
What up, though?
Tonight, we're going to talk about the NFC North. We're going to talk about 2020, and we're going to talk about our predictions on, how we see this division finishing the 2021 season. But before we get started, Waiver Wire Queen is going to share some information with y'all. If y'all want, y'all can go and visit the Dream Elite Strive for Excellence website and get your fantasy football merch. I'll leave the link to the website in the description, and I'll leave an offer code for a discount. So we're about to get right into it. Talk about the NFC North. Obviously, one of my favorite quarterbacks is in this division.
Mm.
The great Aaron Rodgers. I don't know about you, Quentin, but I'm excited. The season is here. I can feel it. I cannot wait for September to come. And Tampa Bay beat the Cowboys, and I'm throwing that shout out.
Wow.
Hear
You
me out.
know,
Hear me out. I'm only throwing that shot out there because you're a Cowboy fan. So I gotta throw a shot
uh-huh.
out there. I gotta throw shots at Cowboy fans. But I'm really
Yeah.
excited. I'm just excited for the season. I'm happy that Aaron Rodgers reported to the training camp because for a minute I was thinking like, okay, what's he gonna do? Was you
Right.
concerned? Were you concerned that he wasn't gonna report to training camp?
Um, I was. I was a little shook. I thought, I thought for sure he was coming to the NFC East, and I knew our chances as Cowboys it was slim to none. So, uh, I'm happy that he chose to go back to Green Bay. He deserves Green Bay. Green Bay deserves him. And yeah, I'm excited for football to be back.
I'm not gonna lie. I was honestly thinking that he was gonna force his way out this year. But
Mm.
we'll talk more about that on this episode. Give me 1 second before we jump right into the topic. Yeah. All right, y'all. So NFC North 2020 season. Obviously, Green Bay Packers have been the most consistent team over the last several years. Green Bay finished 13-3. The Bears finished 8-8. The Minnesota Vikings finished 7-8, and the Detroit Lions finished in last place at 5-11. I don't know what's going on with all of the Motown teams. What's going on out there in Motown because the Lions is not doing good. The Pistons. However, we're hoping that the Detroit Lions are gonna, get it together this year. So, Quentin, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. So, Aaron Rodgers finally reported to training camp. There was some concerns there. There's a lot going on there. So, let's talk about Green Bay Packers 2020 season. Let's talk about what was one of the major issues you noticed with the Green Bay Packers during the 2020 season, and do you feel like they have addressed that issue during the draft or free agency? Tell the people. Come on, let the people know what's going
So,
on, Quinn.
so I'm looking at Green Bay as basically the last dance season. The team was pretty well put together last season. I know there were a lot of complaints about them not drafting a wide receiver in the first round, but at the same token, the team was built strong enough to make it to was the NFC conference championship game. So I mean, you're not looking at a trash squad. You're bringing all those people back. They're gonna run it back again. I do have faith in Aaron Rodgers to get the team ready. But yeah, this is the last dance season for not only Aaron Rodgers but also Devontae Adams. So I want to keep an eye out for Devontae Adams because it looks like he's on his way out of Green Bay as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But Green Bay has a legitimate shot to repeat again back in the championship game.
Right? Do you feel like there was one particular issue with them that caused them to lose against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or do you just feel like it was just more of Tampa Bay being the better team?
Um, so I looked at their defense at the beginning of the season. It wasn't up to par. They did get the wheels turning and everything started clicking towards the end of the season. The defense could still be better. I believe they did, however, get rid of an offensive lineman. They lost an offensive lineman in the trade. Aaron Rodgers was not happy about that, and he did mention that last season. So that's something to watch out for as well. But these issues that they have as far as the team itself, I don't think will stop them from repeating again back in the championship game.
So do you see them winning the NFC North this season?
Uh, that's a good question. But I look at Minnesota uh, as being the little brother to Green Bay. That for a while was going back and forth. Zimmerman had the defense coached up. They lost a lot of people, but as it stands right now, I will keep my pick with Green Bay winning the NFC North. I think
Mhm.
Minnesota will come in close second.
Okay.
Minnesota actually might get in the playoffs because of that extended playoff spot. But yeah, Green Bay wins that division.
Yeah, somebody's gonna steal that spot and sneak in. Maybe it's gonna be the cowgirls. I mean Cowboys. But
Mm,
I watched a few of the games for Green Bay last season. Ultimately, they end up losing to the Buccaneers. I felt like it was a combination of the Buccaneers defense, and then I
mhm,
also felt like Green Bay's defense didn't show up. Their defense was ranked 13th this past season. However, they played as if they were ranked last in the NFL in that game. So that to me is the always has always been their Achilles heel, the defense, because even though they've only had the consistent target of Demonte Adams,
mhm.
it still has worked. It's worked. You know,
Right.
Aaron Rodgers MVP, so it has worked. But the defense has always been just not that good, or pretty much not good enough. But I'm looking forward to seeing Aaron Rodgers play this season. I don't have him in any of my fantasy football leagues, but I have Devontae Adams, and I'm expecting big things from those two. I think this is it. This is the last
Mm.
dance. That's why they both put that picture up. This is the kind of like the last dance. Let's see what happens, and then after this season, let's reevaluate and move on. Earlier on, I thought that he would just he would retire, or Green Bay would just, finally come to their senses and say that, hell, we may end up losing one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game for nothing. So I was thinking
Mhm.
that he was either going to retire, or they were going to just say, okay, we're going to have to make a trade. And in that case, they could have called the New York Giants. We would have been we would have gladly made
I
that
bet.
trade. But
I
some
bet.
in earlier on during the off season, um, I was thinking Denver would have been a good spot. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to Las Vegas. I just don't
Mhm.
feel like they have the weapons that he's used to, and you got to think about it. He's only really had um, Devonte Adams as his most dominant, consistent weapon. He's had others, but not on the level, in my opinion, is Devonte Adams. But to me, they don't really have much. So I was looking at a team like Denver. They have a lot of young talent, and that would have been
Mhm.
a good look for him. And then of course the Giants, because I need A-Rod over here. I need him over here. And we have some good weapons too, but now we're here. He's reported to training camp, and they are looking to try to win the NFC North again, which I feel like they have a great chance to do, and then move on to the Super Bowl. But obviously, there's someone who's got a lot to say about that, and that is
Mm,
Tom Brady. So
mm,
I'm looking. I wouldn't mind seeing that matchup again to see who's going to end up winning. But
definitely.
two greats going at it. I thought that Green Bay would perform better in that game. So it was
Mm.
they look bad.
Nah, definitely.
They look
They definitely got
real
exposed.
bad. They look real bad. But new season, and let's see what happens. So let's talk about the Chicago Bears. They were
Mm.
8-8 on the season. What do you feel the Bears' major issues during the 2020 season, and do you feel like they've addressed those issues?
So the Bears' issues have not just been 2020. They've been 4 years ago when they drafted Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson. They tried to correct that issue by moving over drafting Justin Fields. Um, there, I think Chicago is toxic because you admitted to making a mistake and moving over to draft Trubisky. Then you try to correct your mistake by drafting Justin Fields, but you still hold on the stance that you want to roll with Andy Dalton as your QB1. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's looking like a toxic situation because you already know that you have nothing at work. Um, you put Andy Dalton as your QB1, and Andy Dalton has been in the league 11 years and yet to win a playoff game. So you already know what you're going to get out of him. If you felt you made the mistake in drafting Trubisky, then roll with what you know. You drafted Justin Fields high, and so you expect to play him. You felt he was polished enough to be an NFL starter, so go ahead and start him.
Hmm. I agree with you. The Bears' biggest issue, in my opinion, has been right then and there. You decided to go with Mitch over Watson. It's just like, wow. But
Yep.
they thought that he was their guy, and he was okay at times, but I felt like the defense was obviously carrying that team. And now the defense is still all right, but they're not dominant like what they were, and they won't be able to carry the team. They need a quarterback. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I love the move that they made for a quarterback. So we're gonna have to see what happens there. But that was their biggest issue to me last year is you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a franchise quarterback. Bringing over Nick Foles, I knew that wasn't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch, we all knew that wasn't going to work, and even though he played well down the stretch, I knew that that was it. They weren't going to re-sign him because he already had the opportunity for several seasons to show if he
Mm-hmm.
was a franchise quarterback, and he wasn't. So to me, they made the right move by moving on from him. And although I was thinking they would move in another direction, but they ended up signing Dalton. So I think that's going to help them. And then um, I felt like they did address that quarterback issue by moving up and drafting Justin Fields. So
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have to see if he's that guy. We're gonna have to see. I do not know. Andy Dalton will be solid for right now, but at some point they're going to have to allow Fields to get on the field to see if uh, trading him for the most important pick, that number 1 to the New York Giants, was the right move. I think it was because, I love number 1 picks over here in New York. So,
Right.
so
Y'all don't do nothing with them. Y'all.
we do a good job with our picks. So I do feel like they have tried to address the issue. And let's not forget, David Montgomery is a solid running back. Okay. I don't know what Nagy was thinking. They just, to me, they lost their way. They should have stuck with what was working offensively and how they utilized Cohen and Montgomery. They went away from that, and plus quarterback play wasn't good, and so it's been a disaster for them. But they still won 8 games. Okay, so if they can get solid quarterback play the 2021 season, they may be one of the teams that can slide in there to the playoffs on that extra spot. However,
you think, whoa.
I said they may be. Think about it. They had look at the type of quarterback play they had last season, and they still were able to win 8 games. So we'll see. I mean, wasn't you cheering for Andy Dalton last year? You done with Andy? Come on now. You done with Andy Dalton? Come on.
You don't got the story element. I don't know you. You don't got the story element. I don't know you. But nah, I don't see. They're not. No. Mm-mm. And David Montgomery, I think, will have a good year because, for one, your roster looks as if you have an inexperienced quarterback and you have a very old quarterback who, I mean, you basically not getting much out of it. So the only receiver there was still Allen Robinson.
Yeah. He's consistent. I'm not high on any of the other wide receivers out there. They just traded Miller. I still feel like they should at some point add a young wide receiver to go along with Fields, and then we don't know if Robinson's going to be on that team next year, so we'll have to see. Right now, they're trying to make the playoffs, which is why I feel like they signed Andy Dalton. They still believe that the defense is solid enough to carry the team.
That defense was pretty good.
Yeah, it's just not the same. If you look back, a lot of times the defense was having to score at times in order for them to win some games. So, but I think Andy Dalton will be serviceable, kind of like with Fitzpatrick. I think Fitzpatrick is gonna air it out more, but I feel like Andy Dalton will be serviceable in the same capacity as comparative to Fitzpatrick. But however, you have to realize at some point you're going to have to move on from that. You cannot make that your long-term plan. So I don't know how far out they project Justin Fields, but if not next season, I mean, obviously they don't see him playing this year, but what are y'all saying about next year? Like, how long are you guys going to make him wait? But they may just be looking at it as, well, we're just going to wait and see what Andy does. If Andy plays really well and we feel like Fields needs another year, then we'll give him another year. But if Andy Dalton stink it up, and if he start the season off and it's bad, and say Fields is doing all right in practice, you'll see you're going to see Justin Fields at some point, because if Andy Dalton is stinking it up, throwing interceptions, you might as well bring in a young guy and see what you have, and you may be surprised. Now, what school was Justin Fields from?
Ohio State. Wait, I said it wrong. The Ohio State University.
So are they known for producing quarterbacks?
Not at all. Not at all.
Do you feel that that's a concern right there, that the history suggests that they don't produce quarterbacks? Or should we just say that may be the history, but this kid has it? At one point, he was projected to be the number 1 pick. He was in that conversation, the top 3.
The odds are against Justin Fields extremely, and the numbers suggest otherwise. But the rebuttal to that is he has to put out some historic numbers when he played with Ohio State. So it's trying to find a correlation. Why is it that Ohio State can have a quarterback that can kill it in the college ranks and it looks like a scrub when he gets to the NFL? So hopefully Justin Fields can break that barrier for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he has skill. He has all the skill in the world. So hopefully the IQ is matched. The leadership, the intangibles all come with that to make him the elite NFL quarterback.
Okay.
But
I
the
want to
verdict
see.
is
I'm curious to see. I want to see. I'm hoping that we are wrong and we're not going with history. I'm hoping that he is that guy.
yeah.
Want to see him succeed. Come on now.
He
My
he deserves
favorite.
he deserves it just for being passed up by so many teams.
Mhm.
Him and Deshaun Watson. Um, I don't agree with San Francisco picking Trey Lance uh, at that position.
Stop.
At that point, I don't feel like Trey Lance should have been that high of a pick over Justin Fields. I just didn't see it. So
So
definitely not Mac Jones. Um, but I thought, and even Zach Wilson came out of nowhere for me. I don't have a clue where they thought Zach Wilson, who played at BYU, had the same level of skill that Justin Fields would have facing the competition that Justin Fields. So I don't know where everything got lost in the sauce, but I saw it as Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, in the field. Like it was 1 and 2, and I don't know where all these other. I didn't know Trey Lance. I didn't even know Trey Lance played college ball until like 2 months before the draft. So I didn't like I was unaware completely, and it was he's better than Justin Fields. So I don't know. I saw Justin Fields play, and I didn't see any of these other guys play except for Trevor Lawrence.
well, the Bears lucked up. They
Yeah,
got their guy. So just imagine if they had to try to trade further up for Fields. It would have been more than just what they gave the Giants. So
right.
they were patient and they got their guy. I honestly thought that when Fields was sliding, I thought that maybe Denver, but obviously they did the Giants a favor. But
Yeah, yeah.
they
We
hurt y'all feelings. But I honestly think that Chicago made the right move. They did. They made the right move by drafting Fields. So let's
most
talk
definitely.
about your favorite team because
Mm-hmm.
one of your favorite wide receivers is on this team. Because every time I turn
Mm-hmm.
around, you are either drafting him in fantasy
Yep.
or you are bugging me about a trade.
Yep.
Minnesota
I picked him
Vikings.
up. I picked him up.
The
I
Minnesota
got.
Vikings, huh?
I gotta give a shout out because we're talking about the Vikings.
Uh
I gotta
huh.
give a shout out to Sam Logan. I picked up your boy. I picked up Justin Jefferson. I finally got him. I don't want to hear no more. He hits me up every day and tells me that Justin Jefferson on Trayvon Diggs will get
Hmm.
burned every time, and I pick him up. I don't want to hear nothing else, Sam. I picked your boy up. Hopefully he shines.
It's all good. Anyways, the Minnesota Vikings finished 7-9 on the season. What was the major issue with the Minnesota Vikings during the 2020 season, and do you feel that they have addressed that issue and they have opportunity to make the playoffs this year?
The Vikings are the most complete team in the NFC. Defense and offense, the running game. You have 1A, 1B. It never left. I was concerned when Stephon Diggs left, and he kept beating. And 1A, 1B never left when he drafted Jefferson. What I've seen in the past with Minnesota, they're bad at draft. So they've picked up a lot of wide receivers over the years that really haven't been that good ever since Randy Moss left. But then this past year, picking up Justin Jefferson, and you still had Thielen. Thielen became more of a veteran coach to build leadership around that offense. You have Devin Cook, who been healthy as a beast. The whole line is tremendous. Kirk Cousins, I don't like Kirk Cousins. I cannot deny the fact that Kirk Cousins does not A, he doesn't turn the ball over. B, he stays healthy. And C, he produces. If you look at his numbers, it's hard pressed to find a season where he was a top 10 ranked as far as passing yards in the NFL. So they have a complete team. I hate on them. I know, but they have a.
Of course you do.
Yeah, they got all the dogs. So
of course you hate on them.
Yeah,
of course you hate on them.
I gotta give respect when it's due, but
I think even though you're saying that Cousins is consistent, he has those. I don't feel like he shows up when he has to, and that's the big games, the most important games. And then when he finally shows up, it's the fourth quarter, and it's like, okay, it's a little too late. I've seen a few of those games this year where it's finally clicked to him that, hey, we're playing football. It's Sunday, but it's the fourth quarter, and then it's too late, and it's like, okay, well, that was good for my fantasy, but it's not good for your for the Vikings record. So I need to see more consistency out of Kirk Cousins. The defense wasn't great last year at all, in my opinion, especially the games I watched. I watched some of those games. And I feel like they finally made the right decision to move on from Rudolph. It was like, let it go. So things to watch in 2021 this season is Kirk Cousins going to rise to the occasion every Sunday. It's all good. It's okay for fantasy wise, but for your team, the Vikings, they need you every Sunday to be consistent and not in the fourth quarter. Like, they need him to be solid throughout the game. And obviously Cook, he's going to be fine. I hope he can stay healthy and play every game this year. Jefferson, big fan of him. Thielen, he's all right. I'm looking for Jefferson to surpass him. And I'm looking to see what Irv Smith Jr. does this season. He deserves his opportunity to start and play. And it was like Rudolph wasn't doing much for them over the years, but just really blocking. And so maybe that's what it was for them. But it's like Kirk Cousins has another weapon. But if you look at Kirk Cousins, even when he was on Washington, it was the same thing. Like, it was just something about the teams he was on that they just couldn't get over the hump. And that's why at the end of the day, Washington had to move on. You see, they kept doing the franchise.
He was whooping our ass. I can't stand Kirk Cousins.
Their defense wasn't that good. They were ranked 29th this last season. So that defense has to improve, because it doesn't matter if Kirk Cousins is more consistent throughout the season this year. If the defense is ranked 29th, they're not going to win. They'll win less than 7 games and end up missing the playoffs again. So remember, the Vikings used to have a solid defense, and you were like, okay, their defense is solid. They can get by because they have a solid defense. And at some point, Kurt is going to get his head together. And
legit no fly zone.
Now with a 29th ranked defense, it's like, Well, how many games do you truly expect to win with the 29th ranked defense? And it's not like you guys are putting up 40 points every game, blowing teams out. So your defense doesn't have to actually do anything. So those games are
Right.
close, and the defense has to improve tremendously in 2021. Otherwise,
Mm.
the Vikings will be right right at home with the Dallas Cowboys. I always got to
Mm.
throw shots. Come on now. They got to throw shots. Go throw
Mm.
shots. All right.
All right. So
We got to
what
throw
I do?
shots. I want to give a big shout out to 1373 Studios. If you are a Dallas rapper or if you have a podcast, check them out. We'll leave the link to their IG page where you can link up with them if you are looking to record, whether that's podcasts or if you know a musician. I don't want to just restrict it to rappers because it's for or all musicians. So shout out to Nick G and everybody out there. The shout out to the council. That's right. All right, so let's move
All right.
on. Let's move on. Let's talk about Motown. You know, Motown
Yeah.
is doing big, but they've been doing it big lately. So
Right.
the Detroit Lions finished 5-11 on the season. They traded Matthew Stafford. Wow, big
Mm-hmm.
surprise. Traded Matthew
Mm-hmm.
Stafford for Jared Goff and picks. And they did what I've been asking them to do all year long. Actually, I was
This
asking
is
them to do it when they signed the guy. Get rid of Patricia. They got rid of him. He was just,
okay.
you know how
Right.
sometimes even though you can you do certain things well, you're still not head coaching material. I just don't.
Right.
I didn't look at him as a coach. So I felt like 2020. If they didn't get anything else right, they got that right and moved on from him.
Mm-hmm.
But
No.
so, what do you think? Uh, the Detroit Lions need to do in 2021 in order to win more games than five. 5 games isn't
They,
a lot.
so Detroit, they suck. Detroit sucks. But I am all in on the coach that is
Damn.
talking
You
about
said they suck.
that is yeah. But I'm all in on the coach that is talking about going after people kneecaps. Like, nah, I need that. I don't. The team might be garbage. You got garbage. You got Jared Goff. I'm about to call him garbage Goff, but he is. You got Jared Goff, and you have T.J. Hawkinson. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a running back by committee that you don't really need. Swift is pretty capable of being a three down back. Um, your wide receivers are slim. So I'm looking at Detroit coach, and I'm looking at the defense, and I feel like their plan is to be a strong defensive team and probably hold you to at least 3 touchdowns, but they might not be scoring a lot of points, and you're gonna feel it after the end of the game that you know that you played Detroit. So I look at Detroit as a rebuilding situation
Mm-hmm.
that a defense is just going to be told to run free. And so I think they're going to be after the ball on defense,
Mm-hmm.
but their offense won't amount to much.
Yes, Detroit. Mm, I I like the fact that they traded to get some draft picks. I'm not high on Jared Goff.
Mm-mm.
I don't feel like they addressed the wide receiver issue. They did draft the wide
Uh-huh.
receiver. However, they waited too late to draft a wide receiver.
Mm-mm.
They did sign some vets, and I'll call them vets because they've been in the league for a while. That's in Perryman and Williams. They can
Mm-mm.
be solid, but that's just not gonna cut it in the
Mm-mm.
NFL, in my
Nah,
opinion. Obviously, TJ Hawkinson is obviously their best. Oh, their best.
that's it.
This is
That's
the
that's
best
all.
option for Jared Goff.
That's
Jared Goff is gonna be like, them two all day, every day,
Why,
which is why I projected her. Yes, I projected Hutchinson to have a career year. He's been solid, but this is gonna be the season, and it's more of there's a lot of opportunity because who else is Jared Goff throwing the ball to? That's all I've been saying. Who else? There's no one else. Swift. We got Swift and Williams. We'll see how that goes. Swift is going to be the starter. Williams is definitely a solid backup. However, I just don't see that. I don't see that getting this team to the playoffs. That roster, it needs a lot of work. You were right to say they're in rebuild mode. They are definitely in rebuild mode. I think they're looking at Goff to see if he's their guy. He's not. So they can stop looking, okay? Waiver Wire Queen is here to say don't look too long because he's not the guy. But, don't listen to me if you don't want to. But at some point they will have to look for a quarterback in the draft. And the good thing is accumulating those extra draft picks is going to help them do that. Now it's all about can they evaluate talent and bring the right talent in there. I like you got a young running back and you got your young tight end and they started to address offensive line, which is going to be good. That was a good move because say they do decide to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft, then you have started already adding young talent to go along with that young quarterback. Because you don't want to draft a young quarterback into the situation where they don't have a wide receiver, offensive line is a mess. That's a career killer in my opinion, and we've seen that. Right. The Jets. We see what they did with not Aaron Donald, Sam Darnold. Yeah, so I'm hoping that they'll do the right things, in which we already see that they've started. And so now when they go bring that quarterback in, hopefully they're bringing in some talented potential superstar star wide receivers, because the wide receivers they have are not long-term solutions. I think they just was like, we're going to just add them. This is what we're going to do this year. And they already know that they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to win a lot of games this year, in my opinion. So
I did want to say something because you mentioned TJ having a big year. And I traded away TJ.
Oh.
Because I felt the same. I agree with you. I felt like TJ could have a big year, but quarterback play is why I felt it was smart to trade away TJ because Goff is going to get TJ hurt. And I think the usage of getting the ball out to TJ, he's going to be throwing to him in double coverage. We've seen it. And with the Rams, he's got Cooper Kupp. He's got Robert Woods hurt. I mean, once you build that track record, I feel like once Jared Goff looks and he tells the defense with his eyes exactly who he's going to, and we all know you're going to TJ. So I think because of TJ's usage rate, he's going to start suffering injuries this season. I felt it was a smart move to go ahead and trade him away so you're not dealing with that because for one, TJ is in line to have a great year, but Goff has never gotten the ball to a tight end. You had two solid tight ends with LA, and their numbers were horrific. So he was supposed to have a good year, but the verdict is out on him. I think I won in a trade personally. I think getting Calvin Ridley for TJ, it's pretty solid.
And was that it? Was that all to that trade?
What? Let me see. Let me double check.
I think with the issue with the tight ends out and on the Rams when they had Higbee and Everett was they didn't prioritize using them much at all until maybe the last two seasons. And it was, okay, well, you're the hot hand, so we're going to play you. Hot hand, we're going to play you. So it was like, okay, who? So I'm glad that they both decided, well, one of them left. So now that you have to go with this guy because it's not a 50-50 split or a hot hand situation. The difference with the Lions is it's TJ or nothing. There's no
Yeah.
rules. It's just him. Who else you throwing the ball to? What other tight end are you throwing the ball to that hits his job? He's the starter. So I mean, even though Goff has several moments to where he's inaccurate and just look like he don't belong on the field and never played football a day in his life, you can look at the numbers still and look at how Woods still produced, Cup
Mhm.
still produced, and even Higby and Everett, they had moments where you're like, oh, okay, that's good. So hopefully, I'm not
Mhm.
expecting him to be the most accurate because if you haven't showed
Mhm.
me any accuracy so far, then I'm not expecting it. But maybe they'll put him in the position so where they can, kind of get the ball out quickly to Hawkinson. And I
Cool.
think that Hawkinson is obviously way better than Higby and Everett, in my opinion. So he has that going for him. And then we'll have to see. Fresh start for golf,
Um,
and we'll just see
yeah.
what he can do. I'm not expecting the world from him, but
Correct me if I'm wrong.
huh?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with Todd Gurley,
Hmm.
and
Okay,
they
and
lost. They lost to the Patriots, and I think they didn't score but 3 points.
yeah, and you see what happened in that game. He was a
Wait,
wreck. The man, he hasn't recovered since that season, and I feel
he's
like
still playing.
yeah, I feel like most of that was more of McVay, and you see they ran Targali in the ground. They ran him into the ground. So I felt like it was more of him, McVay's system and the running back opposed to Goff.
Hmm.
But he's gonna have to get out there this year and play. So we're gonna hope for the best. And everybody and their mama is high on Hutchinson. So they better produce because you're gonna have a whole lot of people like, oh my
Oh,
gosh,
he's a,
like, oh my
oh,
goodness.
and I got TJ. I gave away TJ, and I got Calvin Ridley, Henry Ruggs, and Michael Pittman.
And what league was this? This
It's a vibe. It's a
Oh,
vibe.
Lord, that's a terrible trade. You just traded
Mm-mm.
the tight end for all of that? Oh
Uh,
man, somebody is just
uh,
not. That's bad.
okay. What you mean? It was some
Who
picks involved. It was
who
picks
who
involved.
you made the trade with?
Let me see. I don't
You
like
don't
it.
even you don't even know who you make it. That was not a good trade. You
Well,
can
I don't like to put everybody's business out there, but
you just
oh,
did, didn't it?
this Drake
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk
did
to Dre
that.
about that. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to talk to Dre about it. But anyways, let's talk about predictions for the 2021 season. Let's talk about the the records. Who you gonna go in from first to last place and predict their
Okay.
records. So let's go. What's your predictions on the the standings in the NFC North for the
Hmm.
2021 season?
Detroit last. Chicago.
All right.
Uh,
Detroit, but what do you think their record is going to be?
on the record. They might win 2 games.
Damn.
They
Is
might
that
win two.
is that bad?
They
Sheesh.
might win two.
I'll try to be a little
Because
generous.
because the way I look at it is, if they gave up for Matthew Stafford, they gave up like a couple first rounds
Hmm.
and Jared Goff. So I'm looking at Detroit as they're going to draft a quarterback next season. They're not. I look at Goff as the same way Carolina did Teddy Bridgewater. He's a bridge quarterback.
Hmm.
Jared Goff is a bridge quarterback until next season. This season was so heavy with the quarterbacks. The first, like it was with first three picks of quarterbacks or something like that. And then you had with Tua last season, Joe Burrow last season. So it's been heavy, so heavy that I think Detroit missed out having Matthew Stafford on their roster that they didn't look for a quarterback.
Okay, so let's get back to these predictions. How you get off predictions? You don't went all the way to the other side. Give me these.
Oh, because they're tanking. They're tanking. Detroit is tanking. They might win 2 games. Yeah, they might win 2. But I don't see them winning 2.
All right, so you got Detroit last. Who's gonna be in third place?
Last. I got Chicago in third place. They might win 5 games. Andy Dalton will win. How many did he win with the Cowboys?
You got to realize I still feel like the Bears defense last year was way better than the Cowboys defense last year. So
what? Man, we got CD Lamb, Amari Cooper, and
we're talking about winning games. You said how many games did Dalton win? Your defense wasn't even good enough to help you win some of those games. Chicago's defense was still better than the Cowboys. But anyways, who you got in second place?
I have Minnesota in second place. Mm-hmm. Very close, very close. I see Minnesota possibly, if Justin Jefferson turns up, they could win 10 games. 10 and 11 games.
And then so you got Pack. How many games you think Minnesota gonna win this year?
I got 10 and 11, and I have the Packers winning anywhere from 12. Because I think it's one more game, so it's 12 to 13 games.
So they got it's one more game. So I got Packers in first with I'm gonna give them 13 wins. The Bears, I got the Bears in second. I'm gonna give them 9 wins. Vikings third. I'm gonna give them 7, and then the Lions, I'm giving them 3 wins.
You have the Vikings. You have the Vikings in third place.
Yeah, I do.
Wow, that's bold. That's tremendous faith in a rookie.
I mean, I want to see how much that defense improves. You were ranked 29th last year. The Bears, even though they took some steps back, they were still ranked higher. And I need to see. You're not going to win more games with defense ranked last. So I need to see some improvements on that defense. I'm sorry. If that defense doesn't improve, I may have to take a win or 2 off of here.
Yeah. I'm glad this is live so we can play this back because we need to pin this. You're saying that Minnesota is going to get outplayed by Chicago this entire season.
As a Giants fan, I want Chicago to lose because I want that number 1 pick. But I feel like they'll win 9 games.
Wow. Okay.
Because I still feel like the Bears defense is going to be better than the Vikings defense. I mean, yeah. So I guess we just gonna have to see. Like, we gonna see. We could do a roll it back.
We got to.
It's live. So yeah. I mean, you keep bringing your Cowboys in it, but like I said, even though Dalton really wasn't that great last year, you realize there was other factors and not just all Dalton. Like, y'all defense was trash. Trash. So y'all the defense helped y'all lose some games too. So it wasn't just Dalton out there losing games. So I'm gonna say that he's gonna be all right over here in Chicago. And I'm not saying he's about to win the NFC North or anything like that, but
he ain't doing that.
He's gonna he's gonna be okay out here in these Chicago streets. It's gonna be all right in Chicago. All right. They're not winning the NFC North unless something crazy happened, which I doubt. They're not winning it, but they're gonna win at least 8 or 9 games, and I'm gonna go with 9. They were able to win 9 games with pretty much without a quarterback. So they won 8 games last year. Was it 8? Yeah, I got it as 8 last year with terrible quarterback play. If Andy Dalton, if he come out there and stink it up, then they probably won't win 5 games. But I don't see that happening. I see him coming out there, and I see him being more of a game manager to kind of coincide with that defense, you know. So back to a lot of what they used to do. Even though I still don't feel the defense is where it used to be, it's still serviceable to the point of where he can kind of manage games. I really feel like they should have added another wide receiver, but I mean, so
everybody in the league should have been on the Julio bandwagon. There's no reason why Atlanta only had, I think, with four teams with legitimate offers. Everybody in the league needed a wide receiver of Julio's caliber for the price that they were asking for.
I had that was the team I actually had him going to, the Titans.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right, that's right. Come on now, I get it right. I get it right.
Right. Yeah.
But that
was Marmo. You ain't get this right, but you got that right. Yeah, you ain't getting this right, though. That would have been
a good move for the Bears, but
a lot of
teams. They still got Allen Robinson, and they're gonna. I think Jimmy Graham is gonna be a factor, but he's gonna play less because I think they're gonna use the younger tight end more. I honestly feel like they should have added another wide receiver, and even though they want to go with the younger guys, that's fine. I was shocked that they traded Anthony Miller away.
Yeah,
but we're gonna see if they lose more games than they did last year. If Nagy, they all gone. This is it, in my opinion. If y'all come out here and stick it up real bad, and that pick that they traded to the Giants is like in the top 3 or top 4, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm predicting they're gonna win 9. I'm rooting for them to win 3 because that's gonna be a good look for the Giants. And
that's game. That's game. So what you're doing is, wait a minute. So what you did was you trying to hype up the Bears so they cannot meet your expectations because they're not going to go past Minnesota. I see what happened.
No, I mean, like I said, my reasoning for this record is the fact that they were still pretty solid, even though the quarterback play. I'll say this: the quarterback play last year on the Bears was horrible. Even though Mitch, he picked it up when he was able to get back in there.
Right.
It wasn't consistent. It was just horrible, inconsistent quarterback play, and they were still able to win 8 games? 7-8 games?
Yeah. So
I feel like Andy Dalton is going to be a bit more consistent than what Nick Foles and Mitch were. That's going to give them the opportunity to maybe win more games. And we'll just have to see. I'm predicting it. I've been predicting a lot of stuff right. We're going to have to see. But like I said, if they lose every game, it only helps the Giants. But I don't see that happening. But hey, if they lose them all, we gonna be at the top of that draft, so we can draft us a quarterback.
Hopefully, I'll draft a tight end because
whatever. On his worst day, he's still better than y'all tight end. But anyways, y'all, we about to wrap this up. What? You didn't like that shout out to you? I was being honest. It was real. Real. You're about to choke on your little goal.
This is Dole right. Delicious.
Don't be out here promoting no Dole.
Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram hasn't lived up to his name since he touched down in the NFL. This is embarrassing. So all I can see is y'all trading for Zach Ertz. I was thinking maybe Minnesota trade for him, but Evan Ingram gotta go.
Yeah, we're not about to do that. So there's no reason why the Giants would, especially if Daniel Jones doesn't get it right this year, there's no reason why I would be in the market for a tight end that's 30. He's on the wrong side of 30. So stop trying to wish that bad crap on my team, all right? You Cowboy fans out there are just horrible. Worst fans in the daggone world. Y'all just delusional and I'm trying to make my team look bad. But anyway, so
it's his fault. Yeah. All
It
right.
is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. So, anyways, y'all go on and hit that subscribe button for more sports, fantasy sports. I got a lot of fantasy sports stuff coming. We got something big coming in the near future, so tune in for that.
Yeah.
Any you got any shout outs you want to do before we roll out of here?
No, I'm good. Shout out Moms. Thank you. We made it.
All right, a big shout out to 1373 Studio. So y'all can check out Nick G. Holler at him if you are an artist or if you have a podcast show and you wanna have the best sound coming out of Dallas. So check
Most
him
definitely.
out. Well, I'll leave the link in the description. Also, go on to the Dream Elite Strive for Excellence website. Check out the fantasy merchandise. I'll leave the link in the descriptions and also a discount code. And check out 9mm on Facebook, IG, and Instagram at The Real 9mm, one of the dopest independent hip hop artists out. He has some hot music, got an album coming out soon. So if you're looking for some good quality music, check him out. That's right. All right,
Most
y'all.
definitely.
Thanks for tuning in. Again, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the like
Thank
button and
you.
share. We got some big things coming up
Thank
in the
you.
future. I'll say that again. Quentin,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
go
you, guys.
Giants. Go Giants. Go Giants. Woo! Gotta do that.
Long season. Long season.
But y'all be blessed and have a great evening. Peace.
Peace.